We're at the running event, Austin, Texas. Happen to be from there, so it makes it really efficient for me. Paul Epstein, Running Wild, lifelong entrepreneur in the military, Navy for how many years?
Army
in the Army.
4 years.
But you flew.
Yeah, flew.
Yeah, so that's what confuses me.
Yeah.
But you know, Paul is a pain in the ass for all the right reasons. And sorry for the noise in the background, but it's a cool setting. And what I mean by that is, to be an entrepreneur, you have to be a pain in the ass. You have to believe in what you're going to do. Otherwise, I think you might fail.
Yeah, no, it will fail if you're not a pain in the ass for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's why I think that's why we hit it off in the beginning, and I believed in your product, because I went, this guy's kind of a pain in the ass like me. Not the exact words I used, but right, that was
no.
That was it. Yeah.
If I were to walk back almost 15 years ago, I met Paul at a triathlon, and I said, "Hey, I got this ugly Frankenball. I can change your life with it." And he said, "Give me one then, and let me see if it'll change my life." And I said, "You can pay, I think, $15.
Yeah, no, it was $20.
$20.
Yeah,
$20.
And that's exactly how I said, and I tell that story to people too. I said, I'm a retail. Did I tell you that I have a store in Pensacola and I'm in the retail business selling this stuff? And you said, yeah, it's $20. So and I kind of like this guy. He's a pain in the ass, right?
Yeah.
So I said, he's gonna make money, and that's the kind of people that I want to associate with in business. Not people that because of the money part of it, but because I want somebody who's focused, who's going to build their business and be committed to it. And the only way to do it is to figure out how to make money around it.
So you have a running store. You have two, actually. Two running stores, brick and mortar. And what I mean by that is a physical store. My question is, Amazon and other online retailers are starting to really force the entrepreneur potentially in a direction that they originally didn't intend to go upon in the retail world. Would you agree with that?
I wouldn't disagree, but if you still hold to your convictions, then you don't have to be forced into anything that Amazon's doing. You don't have to change the way you do business. You have to change the way you do business to make sure that what you're doing is still relevant to your customer, but you don't have to conform to what Amazon's doing to still be successful, at least in my world.
So I love Amazon. I hated it a long time ago. I love it because I don't have to go anywhere to get something.
It's convenient.
It's uber convenient. If I go into some of the mid-box retailers of the world, you don't get customer service anyway. I go to a Nordstrom's, I get great customer service. I go into a specialty retailer, I get great customer service. Everybody in between, it's all about margin and efficiency to make money, and the less employees I have, the more money I'm going to eventually make.
That's right.
Do you think that in your boutique world, and hopefully you don't get offended by that term, do you think that you guys are going to struggle as online presence becomes greater?
Yeah, I mean, yes, we are going to struggle, but we're, as long as we don't lose our identity, as long as our individual stores maintain our identity within our community and stay strong to what we do. Look, people want convenience, absolutely, but we are, without a doubt, social creatures, right? Yeah. We need this interaction, and running is all about passion, and it's hard to continue to run, and and it's never about price. I mean, it is a little bit, but the reason Amazon is successful is because it's convenience.
Yeah.
But they're not going to get the passion or the experience or the social interaction that they will in my shop.
I was just having a conversation with another buddy of mine earlier. I don't like people. It's not,
me neither.
Who I am. I mean, at the end of the day, it's one of those things where I go, man, if I don't have to interact with anybody today, I'm happy. So I chose individual sports, triathlon, running, swimming, all of those kind of things. And now that I've sold my business and I'm looking for my identity again, I realize I really do like people. I love the social interactions under the right terms.
I was just going to say that. You love people in your terms, right?
Yes,
And I love people in my terms too, right? I don't work the floor that much anymore, although that's the piece of my business that really feeds me.
Yeah.
Right. But I can't do it for too long because I feel stressed that I'm neglecting other pieces. Right. So it was Black Friday actually, and I was sitting there fitting a guy in shoes, and there were, I mean, we had a huge day Black Friday. There were probably 30 or 40 people in our little 2,800 square foot showroom. Everywhere, and I'm sitting there fitting him in shoes, and it sounds corny, the sun was coming in the windows, and I thought, man, I'm where I want to be, right? Except that, I want to be with my kids, but from a working standpoint, I didn't want to be doing anything else that minute. I thought this is the greatest thing, but I really dislike going and interacting with people like in this event here, right? I have to interact with all these different people, and I don't like it. I mean, it's not me. But all day long, I'll sit down and talk to you about your shoes and your feet, and talk to you about your goals and how you're going to get to where you want to go.
So, but do you find that, once again, being an entrepreneur is a lonely world?
Oh, yeah.
You don't always have somebody to talk to about the problems that you're going through.
You rarely do.
Yeah,
Someone who can understand.
And you and I have been able to share that over years, talk about, some difficult situations, FDA and others that I had way back when.
Yeah.
But the question is do you find that the social interactions that you have with your run groups and that kind of stuff is what really allows the store to actually be a pro shop, a place for people to hang out, to come in, feel like they're part of a group after and before runs and that kind of stuff? Do you think that adds to the marketability of what your store is?
What's building the community, right? I mean, that's the essence of who we are. We're in the community. We're entrenched in the community. Those people come and hang out at the shop. I mean, we want them to, and we can. I mean, we have run groups, and I think all the successful stores 6 days a week, and we interact with them, and we teach our staff to interact with them and encourage them.
So what would you say if we were going to say, okay, if anybody out there is listening, I think I got like 7 people listening to my videos right now. Eight maybe.
Texted someone.
Okay, good. So we're going to try to get more subscribers, but the idea of the youth of today, they live in a technology world, and they're depersonalizing or they're devaluing the interactions that we as older adults enjoy, whether it's on our terms or not.
I think we think that too much, and I don't think it's always reality.
Really?
I mean, well, they're humans, right?
Yeah.
So they're absolutely different than we are. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have to be.
Yeah.
And we're different than our parents are, right?
Good point.
And so, but they're still humans, and they still need to interact socially. They just do it in different ways, and they're still going to interact within our world at some point.
So a father of, how many kids do you have now? 6, 7?
3.
3.
Yeah.
3 children. The question that I have that I'm curious for you to provide for all those that are listening, as an entrepreneur, as somebody that started 2 businesses, really 3 if you put the running, the races and all that in there, all kinds of stuff. He's a serial entrepreneur. Give advice to someone that's younger, that's passionate about what they do. They may be in their mid-20s. They want to be a part of a community. They're trying to they're struggling with how to start a business. What's the best advice that you would have for somebody like that?
Don't do it. No, it's great. Yeah. I mean, it's realize it's going to take much more work than you thought it would, and it's worth it. And you've got to surround yourself with really smart people too. I mean, don't be afraid to admit that you're not good at a specific thing, but that you know how to find or where to find someone who is good at it.
So true, and there's a lot of groups out there that can help. The problem is consultants typically, they advise everything, they're responsible for nothing. So it gets hard.
You've got to discern that, right? And it's not always a paid consultant, right? I mean, I've got friends, and I know you do too, that you trust, that you bounce ideas off of, and that's what it's all about. And go with your gut. I mean, if you're in it, if you have an idea and you're entrenched in it, stay with your gut, because your gut everything's normally right.
It's so true. I say, the body tells the mind to do incredible things, and the mind tells the body to do horrible things. And I'm talking about the grace of God. God's inside of all of us, and that's one of those very simple ways of saying, if your gut's telling you not to do it, don't do it. Don't do it. But we typically overanalyze the situation and end up going justify and go the opposite direction, which tends to cause problems. Paul, another thing that I'd love to have you communicate with these guys is, you've had a business now for how many years?
15 years.
15 years, doing an incredible job, a great person in his community. How's your relationship with your family?
It's strong, really good.
Has it always been that way?
Well, I mean, you make it a priority, right? I mean, you make it a priority. And so, do I work long hours? Yeah. Does my wife sometimes wish I wasn't working long hours? Yes. Do my kids? Yes. We were on vacation for Thanksgiving on a camping trip, and I said, I'm going to work on Friday. I've got to go to work. And they understand that, right? But I also get to leave whenever I want. And, I took some time on Tuesday, and I have...
So it's your communication with your wife, your children, that allows you to feel comfortable in the decisions that you're making with your home life?
Well, it's my commitment to my promise to my wife and my children to be their father.
Yeah.
And so you don't go back on your commitments and your promises.
As I've said, in some of these, you occasionally have mentors, they don't know it, and Paul has always been a mentor to mine because we're dealing with totally two different ends of the spectrum. I've got a business where I'm traveling around the world. You get to stay in one location. He grounds me with statements such as that. You really have to have these type of people in your life to be successful, because entrepreneurship's lonely. It forces you to think that you can never accomplish the goal. But goals are obtainable, and you're motivated by those that are around you, and so I appreciate that in you. If we were going to jump, 5 years, 10 years, whatever the case may be, do you ever think about, structuring your business to exit and that kind of stuff? Is that ever a thought?
Oh yeah, every day. I mean, and I always say this: if you're not building your business to one day sell it, you're not really building your business, right? I mean, because that creates value. I want my business to be able to sustain itself without me, right? I want to be replaceable, and the only way you can do that is through some kind of exit strategy. In my mind, is that going to happen for me in 5 years? No. I mean, my kids won't be out of college for 15 years, and I like what I do, and I like where I live, and I like my life. That doesn't mean I'm not sometimes frustrated and bored and sick of it and tired of getting up and going to work. But in the grand scheme of things, I like it. And so one day I'm going to exit from it, and I think in this, I don't have a formal plan around it, but everything I'm doing is structuring my building that I'm buying or my business.
So you've got equity in your business. You have something that can be sold when the time is right.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, and
that's the key to a business.
Well, a lot of people don't think that way. They think, it became a passionate project, and then they turned a runner turned a running store owner. You don't think about running a business. You think about participating in your hobby, and unfortunately then it becomes a business, and then it becomes daunting, then it becomes a job, then you hate it, and you fold it, and you could have sold it somewhere along that way and made some money through that process. So the bottom line is, what you're saying is, if I'm correct, communicate well with your family, stay truly passionate and committed to what it is that you're trying to do, whatever entrepreneur opportunity that is, and work your ass off.
Basically.
And always be prepared to sell that company, because you never know when the right time's going to be. But as long as you have your books in line, everything makes sense. You may be able to take advantage of an opportunity that you didn't know was going to exist at any given time.
You want to be ready for opportunities.
So we're freezing out here. So for some reason it's cold in Austin, but
it's not snowing yet.
If you are going to open a running store, I'm going to put down below in the comments, I'm going to give you a web link to Paul's store so that you can look into that from a running perspective. You're also on the board of IRRA, is
That's
that
right.
correct?
Independent Running Retail Association.
And I'll put down below, I'll put some information about that as well. If somebody wants to open a running store that's watching this, can they contact, the IRRA to get some assistance in that process?
The IRRA is the best place to start.
Awesome.
Because it's filled with entrepreneurs like me, and those of us that are members want to see our channel and industry grow and are committed to our businesses, just as I am.
Yeah, if you want to feel special, you want to feel like you're going into Cheers and you know everybody, go into your local running store. These are guys that really care about their community, they care about their store, and they ultimately care about you, the individual. So I'm going to put all the information below. You got one last tip of advice for those wives out there that are looking over the shoulder of their man, or the man that's looking over the shoulder of their wife that's supporting someone in this process? You got any kind of advice for those people?
The wife or the spouse. That's,
the spouse. That's better.
That's deciding. That just be supportive. I mean, it's not easy, but it's all worth it. And your spouse who's going to move forward is guaranteed going to make mistakes. But be supportive, because they are lonely in their pursuit of this and they need your support.
Awesome. Well, Cassie Phillips, once again, Bootstrapping Life. We'll see you next time, and thanks for watching.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Thank you.